You just finished Resident Evil. The credits rolled, the tension drained out of your shoulders. And now you want it back. These are the 10 best survival horror games on Steam, all under 20 bucks, that'll fill that void without emptying your wallet. Let's count them down. At number 10, Granny Remake. $6.99 gets you a house you desperately want to leave. You wake up trapped in a dark, sprawling home, and the only other resident is a relentless old woman who hears everything. Every footstep, every door, every dropped object. The horror here is pure stealth tension. No combat, no weapons, just you trying to solve puzzles and find an escape route while something hunts you by sound. Players say the audio design is what sells it. You can hear Granny's footsteps through the walls, and it genuinely sounds like she's standing right next to you. The graphics are a solid step up from the mobile original, and there are multiple escape routes to piece together. It's a short, scrappy indie, and it knows exactly what it is. A game where the scariest enemy in the building is somebody's grandmother. Number 9, The Story of Henry Bishop, $5.99. This is a first-person psychological thriller, and the emphasis is on psychological. There's combat, but the real threat is the atmosphere. The slow, creeping realization that something deeply wrong happened in this place, and you're standing in the middle of it. You're solving riddles, piecing together a mystical plot layered with occult imagery, and the game gives you multiple endings that actually feel earned. The whole thing runs about 2 hours, which is tight, but players say it punches above its weight. One reviewer called it a charming indie thriller with surprising narrative depth. The production is clearly small budget. This is a tiny team working in a crowded genre, but the story carries it. For the price of a fancy coffee, you get a genuine horror experience with actual narrative payoff. Worse deals exist. Number 8, Pathogen X, $9.99. You're a special agent dropping into an underground laboratory to neutralize a biological threat, and everything has already gone catastrophically wrong by the time you arrive. Dark corridors, limited ammo, things lurching out of the shadows faster than you'd like. This is a first-person survival shooter built by a single developer, and for a solo project, the polish is impressive. The combat is punchy, the pacing is tight, and the whole experience wraps up in about 2 hours with zero filler. One player did note that the stones in the elevator are a little low poly. Priorities. But the consensus is clear. Pathogen X is a focused, well-crafted horror shooter that respects your time and your 10 bucks. The developer clearly poured a lot of care into every room, and it shows. At number 7, The Mute House, $12.99. Fixed camera angles, tank controls, limited inventory, no map. If that list made your pulse quicken with excitement rather than dread, this one's for you. You play as Emily, investigating your sister's disappearance, and you end up trapped in a mansion full of puzzles, locked doors, and things that want you dead. The kicker, your inventory screen doesn't pause the game. You're fumbling through items while something shambles toward you. Every shotgun shell has to be loaded one at a time. The tension is absolutely relentless. This is a small French studio's debut, and it's rough in places. The English translation stumbles here and there, and enemy behavior can feel inconsistent. But the atmosphere is thick, the puzzle design is smart, and the dread never lets up. Players call out the puzzle design specifically. Each room feels deliberate, each lock has a payoff. For a debut title, the confidence in the design is something. Sliding into number 6, Heaven Dust, $7.99. Survival horror from a top-down perspective, with cute polygonal character models and a very real sense of dread underneath. You wake up in a mansion-turned research facility overrun with zombies, and you need to figure out what happened and how to get out alive. The puzzles are the highlight, inventive, layered, and genuinely satisfying to solve. Exploration rewards patience, ammo management rewards discipline, and the whole thing took most players about 4 hours without a guide. That feels like the perfect length for this kind of game. Enough to build tension, not enough to wear it out. The localization is a bit rough, and enemy variety is limited. This is a small indie team working with a small budget, and you can feel those constraints. But at $8 for a complete, polished survival horror experience you can finish in a single sitting, that's an easy yes. At number 5, Flesh Made Fear, $17.99. The most expensive game on this list, and it earns every penny. Tank controls, fixed cameras, PSX-era visuals, 2 playable characters, a setting that blends twisted laboratory experiments with occult nightmares, and the sound design is breathtaking. Players single it out again and again as one of the game's strongest elements. Every corridor sounds wrong. Every room feels like a trap. Ammo is scarce, save points are precious, and the threats hit hard enough that every encounter matters. One reviewer wrote, "It's an absolute love letter to classic survival horror while completely standing on its own." And importantly, the developer made everything by hand. No AI-generated assets. You can feel the craft in every texture, every sound cue, every carefully placed enemy. $17 for a game this carefully made. That math works. Number 4. Airtight City. $1.99. Under $2. This is a third-person horror shooter set in dark, claustrophobic corridors with blood-stained walls and things lurking in every room. The atmosphere is suffocating. Players describe genuine dread just turning a corner. The gunplay is smooth, the combat is satisfying, and the tension never lets up. Now, honest disclaimer, the current content runs about 30 minutes to an hour. That's the one catch. You'll finish it and immediately want more. But the quality of what's here at this price is kind of absurd. One player said things got so hectic they forgot where their keys were and just started mashing buttons hoping to hit the right one. All revenue goes toward funding the full 2.0 release, so you're investing in something bigger. For the price of a gas station candy bar, you get a genuinely tense horror experience. I've spent $2 on far worse things. At number 3, Estranged, Act 1. And the price? Free. $0. You're a fisherman stranded on a mysterious island after a violent storm, and something is very wrong with the people who live here. Built on the Source engine, this game nails atmosphere in a way that feels almost unfair for free software. The environments are dense with detail, moody lighting, grounded architecture, a constant sense of unease baked into every location. The horror here is slow burn and psychological. The island reveals itself in layers, and each layer is worse than the last. You're not fighting off hordes, you're piecing together what happened, and the dread comes from understanding. Voice acting, sound design, level design, all excellent. One reviewer with 10 hours in called it incredibly polished, both technically and visually. It runs about 2 to 3 hours, and it's the kind of experience that sticks with you long after you close it. 90% positive. And free. There's genuinely no excuse not to have this installed. Number 2, Nightmare of Decay. $4.99. A first-person survival horror game set in a manor crawling with zombies, psychotic cultists, and worse. 92% positive on Steam from over 4,000 reviews. At $5. The horror here is dense and unrelenting. Tight corridors, scarce ammo, interconnected puzzles that reward careful exploration. One reviewer described it perfectly. You pick at it a bit until you finally get it loose enough to start really coming apart. That's exactly how the mansion unfolds. The campaign runs 2 to 3 hours, and every minute is earned. No padding, no filler, just escalating dread and increasingly brutal encounters. You can even adjust the visual filters, crank up the grain, the pixelation, whatever level of visual grit you want. One player called it the unlawful son of old Resident Evil games and said they couldn't believe the price, $4.99. This is one of the best values in horror gaming, full stop. And at number 1, The Forest. $19.99. You survive a plane crash, your son is taken, and you're alone in a vast, terrifying wilderness inhabited by cannibalistic mutants. Organized, intelligent, and watching you before they decide to attack. The Forest understands something most survival horror forgets. Isolation is the scariest thing of all. During the day, you build shelters, scavenge supplies, explore the surface. At night, things emerge from the trees, and they learn. They study your patterns. They test your defenses. The deeper you go, into the caves, into the story, the worse it gets. And those caves, some of the most oppressive, claustrophobic environments in any survival game. 94% positive from over 500,000 reviews. Players with hundreds of hours still call it one of the most memorable survival games they've ever touched. You can play solo or co-op, and both feel like completely different experiences. One player summed up their playthrough perfectly. Your mission? Find your son. What you actually do? Build a 5-star wooden mansion, chop 847 trees, and accidentally become the local cannibal slayer. Another reviewer put it more bluntly. Saving Timmy? Forget that kid. At $20, it's the priciest game on this list and the easiest recommendation. The Forest earns the top spot. That's 10 survival horror games, all under 20 bucks. Links are in the description if any of these caught your eye. Drop a like if this helped, subscribe if you want more lists like this, and leave the lights on tonight.